All right, well, welcome. So my name is Jeff Tenner, and I'm from Legal Seafoods here in Boston, and we're at the Kendall Square Farmers Market today. And it's a great opportunity to start working with some of those ingredients that are those late spring, early summer ingredients. And asparagus is certainly one that is top of mind. So the other ingredient we're going to use today that is another sort of harbinger of spring is arugula. I have two different kinds of arugula here. This is a baby arugula and a larger leaf arugula. I actually have this larger leaf arugula growing in my backyard, so I was excited to use that. And like I said, the asparagus is another great focus for us today. So the dish we're making is a cold poached salmon, and it's going to be served atop this salad of asparagus and arugula with a really delicious roasted tomato vinaigrette. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ingredients first, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to make this. You can see right here the salmon I went ahead and poached ahead of time. And it's a really simple process. Poaching is great for you. It introduces essentially no fat into the cooking process. So you make a broth with water and wine and some herbs and lemon and any aromatics that you like, and let the salmon just simmer in that poaching liquid until it's just cooked through. And then what I like to do is I like to let it sit in that poaching liquid after it's cooked, and it kind of absorbs some of that the flavor from the liquid, and then you refrigerate it, and you can use it the same day or the next day. You can serve it whole like this, or flake it onto the salad. So that's the first ingredient is the salmon. The arugula we talked about. Let's talk about the dressing a little bit that we're going to dress this salad with. So as I mentioned, we're using arugula as the lettuce, and then we're going to make this roasted tomato vinaigrette that I went ahead and made ahead of time, but we'll talk a little bit about it. It's really so easy. It just has 4 ingredients that you see here. These are roasted plum tomatoes, and you can do them yourself very simply by quartering the plum tomatoes, tossing them in a little olive oil with salt and pepper, and letting them go in a lower oven, like a 300-degree oven, until they start to tenderize. They also sell them in Whole Foods and other stores packed in oil, and they're really delicious. They're not sun-dried tomatoes, so it's definitely a different product. So you just simply take the tomatoes with a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon, some salt and pepper, and a little olive oil, and puree it, and you get this great it's almost like a sauce. We're calling it a vinaigrette, but it's almost like a sauce, and it has a little bit of that tang from the lemon, a little bit of that sweet tartness from the tomato, and just makes a great refreshing dressing. And again, so simple with just those few ingredients. With some feta cheese and some pickled red onions. I'm a huge pickling fan. You can pickle anything. You can pickle mushrooms, cauliflower. Pickling does a lot of things, but one of the things that I really like is it introduces a nice sour note to foods. So if you have a dish like this where you have the creaminess from the feta and the herbaceous quality of the asparagus and then the richness from the salmon, the pickled red onion adds that little sour vinegar twinge to it. So something I like as well. And then I have some hard-boiled eggs, some hard-cooked eggs. And again, farm-fresh eggs are really amazing. We have some right here at the farmer's market, a couple stalls down. One of the things you'll notice when you work with farm-fresh eggs is that yolk is such a beautiful, bright color. So it's really a great ingredient to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to build one of these salads. I have a plate right here that we're going to build on, because as you can see, once all your ingredients are ready, it's really just a matter of putting the salad together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with some of this arugula in the bowl, and we're going to add a little bit of feta cheese to that. I like the feta cheese because it gives it that little salty quality and a little bit of creaminess, but obviously you could omit the cheese if you weren't interested in having the cheese in there. Put a little. This is just a simple, lightly brined sheep's milk feta. So again, you can see that beautiful color that you get really brightens it up. So that's the first step. And what we're going to do is onto this plate, put a little bit of this arugula that's been tossed with the dressing and the feta. Like that. Okay. Now, I like to add a little extra dressing to the plate just because it's so yummy, and it'll give you something extra to dip your salmon in when you're going ahead and eating it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some asparagus on this plate. Now, I blanched this asparagus. Does everybody know what blanching is? Can someone tell me what blanching is?
Just you put it in hot water really fast.
Right, exactly. So the idea of
in ice after that?
exactly. So the idea of blanching is you want to really brighten the color of the vegetable that you're cooking, and you only want to cook it just a little bit, so it still has a little of that bite to it. So a big pot of salted water, submerge the vegetable into the salted water, and then remove it into an ice bath to stop the cooking. So I did peel the asparagus. You can see. So this is the asparagus, obviously, before it's been peeled. These were a little bit thicker, and a lot of times in the early spring, you'll find that outside of the asparagus can be a little rough, even after it's been cooked or blanched. So I go ahead and give it a quick little peel with a vegetable peeler. It looks pretty too, so it, sort of serves a few different purposes. So the asparagus you can cut up. I'm going to leave whole like that, so we can just put those right on the plate. And again, there's lots of ways to cook asparagus. You can grill it, roast it. But simply blanching it in salted water, one of the things you'll find is that you get the trueness of the flavor of the asparagus, really that bright flavor. So I'm going to take one of these pieces of the poached salmon and just nestle it right in there like that. And then we'll do a little of this pickled red onion on here. Oop. And then the last ingredient we're going to put on is one of our hard-cooked eggs, just like that. And as you can see, you have this great combination of flavors. You have the kind of pepperiness from the arugula, the creaminess from the feta cheese, that really bright dressing, the asparagus, little poached salmon, pickled red onion, and then the farm egg. It makes a great lunch. This would be a great first course as well if you were doing a coursed meal, a really nice light dinner, and just a great taste of that late spring. As we hit June, wild salmon starts to come into season, so that's an excellent opportunity to kind of pair those early summer vegetables with a fish that comes into season. So again, you'll start seeing wild salmon towards the end of June, beginning of July. Makes a great pairing for this. But you could top this with grilled shrimp. You could serve it alone just as the salad itself. There's so many different options. And once you have the components, you could have these prepped ahead of time and just build it, whenever you want. It's a really easy thing to put together.